We're not going to let Karina go before we honor her as a changemaker of 2025. And to do the honors, may I call on the stage our finale speaker, Dr. Shashi Tharoor. Can we have a big round of applause for Shashi? Is he there? Oh, there he is. Hello. Thank you. Good to see you. Just off the side, I'm just waiting for the trophy. And there it is.
This conversation will be very interesting to watch both of you. Huh?
Oh. But can we have a big round of applause? Before she goes, there's a cricket connection here. I know you're a cricket lover. Saif's father, Nawab of Pataudi. Yes, you want to say something there?
Yeah, no, I'd met him. I was a great admirer of his. The first test match I saw, he was captain. So it goes back a while. Yeah. But, you know, when you asked her whether there was any unfulfilled ambition, I was hoping you'd ask me that.
What is yours?
When I was a kid, I really wanted to play cricket very badly. And that's exactly what I did when I grew up. I played cricket very badly.
Well, thank you, Karina. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, please take your seats. Could we just help her out, please? Oh, my. I think we need someone to... Yeah. Okay, Shashi, sit. Rachna, we have a bit of a scam. Could we help Karina out? Karina, I suggest you hop off, otherwise you'll be here forever. Guys, I have to ask you to settle down. Everyone going backstage has to come front of stage if you want your seat now. If anyone is giving up your seats, there are people outside waiting to hear Shashi, so I'm going to let them in. So if you want to sit, grab your seat quickly.
Yeah, I was, I'm afraid, assailed by a lot of very unhappy young women who said that you turned them away.
I mean, I'm so sorry to anyone who's outside. If anyone's still outside, can we see if there's space? No? No space.
And I gave them selfies instead as a small compensation.
I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to you.
Anyway, here we are.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you please take your seat? This is our grand finale, and I want to tell you all that Shashi Tharoor has just come straight from the airport, and I requested him to wait an extra hour. I'm really in trouble with him and with all the people who couldn't get in to listen to him. So can we please show him some love and give him a really grand welcome?
Thank you. Thank you.
You can
this one better.
Can you hear?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, everyone
All right,
can.
great. Well, great to be with you, and thanks for coming.
So how many hours in a plane this week?
I've lost count because I was in Moscow at the beginning of the week and came back, and then I had 1 day in Delhi, 1 day, not even one full day, but a half a day in Ahmedabad, and then flew here for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, really appreciate it and really apologetic for those who couldn't get in, but it shows how keen people are to hear you.
No, I'm delighted, Barkha, because honestly, the truth is that one of the most important things we can do is sort of get our message out, to talk to people about what matters to us and we hope will matter to them.
So can we talk a little bit about how you have become, in a way, the most effective, the most visible face of India's message on Operation Sindoor, traveling all around the world, first as a member of leading an all-party delegation, and then to all of these other countries, speaking in French in Moscow. I mean, I don't know what you've been up to. But how did you, we have some pictures of Shashi hitting, not even the pavement, but I don't even know what to call the air equivalent of the pavement. But my question to you is, you're an opposition member of parliament, and you have become India's and the government's most effective ambassador. Can you make sense of this?
Well, you're very kind to say that. I wouldn't claim such a label for myself. But as far as the opposition is concerned, don't forget that when Pahalgam happened, all the parties in the country rallied behind the government and behind, when Sindoor happened, behind the armed forces. And that, therefore, was my cue. I mean, that there was no real difference. We've often taken the view that our political differences have to stop at the borders. And I think that that's pretty much been my approach as well. There would be things that I would be prepared to say against the government at home that I tend not to say when I'm abroad. Largely because, you know, we can fight our own battles. We don't need to take them outside. Even if the audience is largely Indian, as it often is these days with the strength of our diaspora. Nonetheless, I think it's important that we preserve that distinction. Secondly, I've always been an advocate of bipartisanship in foreign policy. When I first became chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs, External Affairs, back in 2014, I said that, as far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as a BJP foreign policy or a Congress foreign policy. There's only Indian foreign policy and Indian national interests. And to my mind, that's what my job was all about. I'm back in the saddle as chairman of the committee again now, but I don't think it was particularly because of a position in that committee that I was asked to go. The government decided, I think rightly, to send a message of unity through these delegations.
Absolutely.
I think all-party delegation is a difficult word to use because we have 41 parties in the Lok Sabha, but a multi-party delegation, 7 multi-party delegations. And strikingly, 3 of them were led by opposition MPs, Supriya Sule, Kanimoyi, and myself. And I think all of that sends a good message to the outside world that this is not a party political effort. This is a national Indian message. And I think it went across very well in that way.
And well done, and I completely agree with you. But you know what? A lot of people, and I totally take the point, I'm not sort of trying to bring politics here, that this was about India, this wasn't about party A, party B, government X and opposition Y. But a lot of people want to know what Shashi Tharoor will do next. And the reason we're bringing this up is you had a very cryptic post on social media. You had a little sort of slide, graphic slide, and it said you don't need anyone's permission to fly. Are you flying the coop? Are you leaving the Congress?
No.
And if not, why not? Because
listen,
they don't seem to appreciate you.
Number one, there's no point in issuing a tweet if the tweet can't speak for itself. So
it did speak for itself.
Exactly. I'm not amplifying.
It said you are not going to seek the permission or the consent of people to be yourself. That's what I understood it to be.
But that's always been the case with me, Barkha. Hasn't that been a problem for very many people for a very long time?
It's both your most strong trait and gets you into trouble in politics sometimes.
I suppose that's partially true. I mean, one of the challenges of our system is indeed that we are very heavily linked to party process. It's a feature of the parliamentary system, but even within, say, the British parliamentary system here, individual MPs have far more more
sort of space to take positions.
Flexibility, to take their own positions. And you may remember that when they were discussing in Parliament the question of going to war over Iraq, not only members of the ruling party of the government, but even ministers dissented from the government's position. If I remember right, Robin Cook, I think, was the foreign secretary who objected to his own government's decision to go to war. So these things are possible in Britain. They're not in the Indian ethos. And perhaps that's partially one of the specific challenges we all have. And in any party, it's not about my party alone. In any party, you're supposed to sort of rigidly stick to a line, and that line is determined, unfortunately, by processes that are often considered opaque, even within those parties. And so at the end of the day, if you have a mind of your own, it becomes, you either have to stifle it, or if you're lucky, it happens to be exactly the view that your party is taking and you go along with it.
So at the moment,
on Sindoor,
you're not stifling yourself?
No, listen, I was given, as these other opposition MPs also were, a mission on behalf of the country.
This panel is called Man on a
Fulfill that
Mission.
mission to the best of my ability, and that's exactly what I went to do. And I must say that the message was well received, wherever we went.
Absolutely, and therefore my question, and this is really a genuine question. When I met you in Thiruvananthapuram, in the assembly election, you were on the in the Lok Sabha election, and you were on the campaign trail, and he's a 4-time member of parliament from Thiruvananthapuram. You said at that time, I said, what next? And you said, well, you know what, I don't know, but like the only next thing left to be is Kerala Chief Minister. We were chatting at that time, on record. I'm not quoting from a secret conversation.
Sounds like you might.
No, I have the camera clip. Then, now everybody says, hey, why can't Shashi just be like, no offense to Mr. Jaishankar, but foreign minister?
No, first of all, there's no vacancy.
But if there were a vacancy, if there were a reshuffle?
Look, first of all, as you all know, I mean, our system doesn't really make that kind of possibility terribly likely. I think this is not frankly, a conversation I'm particularly keen on having, A, in London, and B, on a public platform, because I've just come back from these journeys. There's been a lot going on. I've landed here to take a breather. I thought we were going to be talking about women.
We are.
Good.
We are.
So let's
And
talk about
men.
a woman foreign minister.
And men. So since you're not going to do us a show of cards on your next move, let us actually take a step back and talk about the women who shaped you. And I know your sister is, there she is.
My youngest sister.
Your youngest sister, Smita, is right here in the front row, and I'm going to go to her in a while. Talk about, I've met your mum, so that's two of them. I've met your other sister. So I've actually met three of the women who have had big influences on your life.
And
Can
I must say
that
in many ways it was very healthy growing up in a house of strong women. My father was a workaholic a bit, so he was very often running around. In addition to his office work, he also was extremely active in extracurricular activities, Kerala societies of various sorts in the cities in which we lived and so on. So Mom was the strong presence at home. And my own experience, which is not the same as my sister's, my own experience was a very tough taskmaster with impossible expectations that I was nonetheless expected to fulfill. So in some ways, trying to live up to the expectations of women, I think, has been instilled in me from a very young age. I'm only partly joking.
Yeah.
But Mom was a tough cookie. I mean,
Was she stern?
I was very good at taking exams. I kept coming first in everything, and even that wasn't good enough for her.
What would she say?
She would say, "Oh, but that boy did better. And that's a boy in another class who also came first in his class. But I mean, how does she know he did better?" I mean, But it's just one of those things. She never wanted me to be complacent, I guess. She wanted me to keep striving. And that's great. She's now living with me. She's 89. And our relationship has never been better. But growing up was a tough experience.
What do you mean by tough? Like, explain.
Well, look, I mean, I think some kids could have cracked up under that kind of thing. I
Really?
remember the one year that
what was the pressure? Just to keep performing?
The 1 year I didn't come first in class, 8th grade, I'll never forget it, came third. It was like there was a death in the family. There was a funereal atmosphere in the house. My mother could barely look at me. She would turn her face away when she saw me. That was the kind of pressure. So it was a challenge. But on the other hand, I turned out all right, it seems, by and large.
We were just talking about, and I'll come back to the women who've shaped your life, about what you may have done if you hadn't been in politics. And before that, of course, you've been a UN diplomat. And, you've had many avatars. You're a prolific author. Actually, I'm sure I'm going to miss something if I start counting your achievements. And then there are the Tharoorisms. There's, who taught you this English? Can you please tell me? And does everybody in your house speak like this?
Well, you should talk to my sisters and you can tell. I mean,
I'm just going to, but
I think they're all right. I mean, the truth is that, frankly, we were all taught like this, Barkha. I'm sure that, okay, you're a bit younger than me, but nonetheless, there was a time when this was the English we were taught to speak. But I also had one advantage, or looking at it now as an advantage, is that I was an asthmatic child who couldn't go out and play and do all the things you really wanted to, including playing cricket. Very often wheezing and stuck to bed. And those were the days when there was no television in the Bombay of my boyhood, or indeed, even when I got to Kolkata in high school. There was obviously no Nintendo or PlayStation, no mobile phones or laptops. Ultimately, the only thing available to you to distract yourself was books. And so I read widely and indiscriminately, and it's because of that reading that the words came. I wasn't some swot sitting up and mugging up dictionaries. I actually, I was reading books, by the way, that were actually not, because I was the oldest child in the family, so there were no elder brothers and sisters the books I could borrow. So the moment I ran out of my own, or the books I'd borrowed from the library, it'll be my parents' books I had to dip into. So I wasn't even able to fully understand everything I was reading, but if I came across the same word in 4 different contexts, and 4 different stories or 4 different books, I'd get the sense of what it meant. And that's probably why a combination of lack of other distractions plus lots of time in bed with nothing else to do. And those days there were no inhalers or nebulizers or whatever. So
you just had to
would
stay
give a very
indoors and
strong
read?
tablet, which made your heart go thud, thud, thud like a drum. and you couldn't possibly sleep. In any case, if you lay down, you wouldn't be able to breathe. So I'd be sitting up in bed all night. What do? I read. So I became, as a result, I think, the sort of kind of person I became. I mean, there's something about overcoming illness or physical adversity of other kinds also. There is character building. That's not just about the physical part. It's also, it instills habits of mind, a certain self-discipline, certain desire to get things done. Otherwise, you just succumb to feeling sorry for yourself, and that wasn't me.
Now, you were clearly always, feel free to clap, please, everybody. You were clearly always meant for public communication, clearly. But did you actually ever think that you would be, and I'm not asking a political question, but more a question about you, in politics? Because, somewhere that sort of noise and the narrowing sort of reinforcements of the party political space can be suffocating.
No, Barkha, to be honest, it's not because of that. It's because I thought that, I wouldn't get an entry into a world that's very much a closed world.
That's true.
What the French call a chasse gardée, a protected hunt, as it were. Our politics, I mean, there is a very distinct political class, isn't there? And there's a distinction between them and the so-called professional class.
Yeah.
And very clearly, I was supposed to belong to the latter. I'm the guy who took the exams and
you were the hardworking,
got into the IAS or the IFS or whatever, which frankly was my ambition. I really thought that's what I'd do. But I did have a talent for appealing to people, persuading people. I got elected president of my college students' union.
My college also.
Your college students'
But
union.
at that time, they didn't have women.
That's right. And when I ran, that might have been a disadvantage, but I still managed to win. Jokes apart, it was for me important, nonetheless, to be able to do that. And the fact that, I didn't dream of running. People came to me and said, "We want you to be the candidate," and that's made me feel or believe in the possibility of all of that. And that continued. When I joined the UN, for example, I was the first universally elected president of the UN.
I think we have some old. Is that college?
No, that is college. That's my
college?
election victory, in fact.
That is college.
And that young man on the bottom, no, that's the picture's gone now. But anyway, that was the college corridor with them. Walking. The young man on the right became a foreign service officer and just retired as an ambassador. We've got some distinguished faces there. But anyway, college was a terrific time, and of course I look back on that as the most important formative years.
I totally agree. I think they were just the 3 years that shaped me more than any other.
I totally endorse that. For me, it's what really made me realize who I was, what I believed in, what I valued, how I related with people. All the essential things about the adult I became were shaped in those years between 16 and a half and 19 and a bit when I was at St. Stephen's. And so the influence it had on me was so colossal that I've always stayed connected to college out of an eternal sense of gratitude. But I will say that thereafter, I didn't really think of electoral politics. I joined the UN. But both at my graduate school in America, at the Fletcher School, and at the UN, I was elected by my peers to represent them. So I was a student representative at Fletcher on the admissions committee and so on. And I was the first elected president by universal vote on all offices around the world of the UNHCR Staff Council. So I had this, if you like, this desire to be a voice for a larger group of people than myself or my own interests. And that was always there. But when I came into Indian politics, it was almost with a bit of surprise that I was asked. I mean, I think perhaps the bid for Secretary General of the UN had got a certain amount of attention in India. And at that time, all the political movements in the country turned to me and said, "Would you like to join us?" And I must say that I don't really think I knew what I was getting into when I said yes. I was just so thrilled at the possibility of doing something that I thought was closed to me that I said, "Yeah, I will."
You just dived in.
I dived in, and what happened was that, when I started doing it, I realized that this is the hardest thing I'd ever done, far harder than walking through minefields in Bosnia, which had been, the lodestar up to that.
Why is it the hardest? Because is it unforgiving in a way that nothing else is?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many reasons. I mean, for me, first of all, it was hard because it was unfamiliar. I'd never even participated in an election as a voter, because I left India
Yeah.
to go to graduate school in the States at 19 when the
Yeah.
voting age was 21. So I hadn't actually voted or seen an election up close. I didn't know what I was in for. And that first election, I mean, I was put through a torture by some folks in my own party who wished I hadn't been given the ticket because they would rather have had it themselves. So it was like 23
I mean,
hours.
you know that they'll still be feeling this.
There were 23-hour campaign days and things like that.
Yeah.
Literally, you would come
Yeah.
back at 4 a.m. and be up again at 5 a.m. kind of thing. It was madness. But anyway, so that was one part of it. The second part of it, frankly, was the fact that I was not a particularly welcome interloper into this closed world. And when you come into a profession from the outside, if somebody came into your profession, I dare say it wouldn't be much different.
Yeah.
If you come in at a senior level as an outsider, everybody else has reasons to resent you. And I got more than my fair share of that. So I ended up with lots of stilettos in my back in the course of my very first year. You remember, I even had to resign my ministership, but basis absolutely nothing at all. But I plugged away. I didn't quit and run away back to New York as people thought I would. I decided to stick it out. I'd earned the trust of the voters, and I was going to repay that. And it became a very good constituency MP, even if I say so myself. I delivered a lot of goodies to my constituency in the remaining years of my first term. And I was re-elected in the middle of the Modi wave. So
Yeah, it's an extraordinary win, and I reported on that campaign myself. I want to spend a few minutes taking questions because I think people are going to clobber me if I don't allow them a chance to ask a few questions. But can we start, please, with Smita Tharoor? Can we have you up on stage? Because I think it's a rare chance to actually get to know the person behind the persona. And you have a mic there. Oh.
there's a mic.
Hi. So how many years apart are you guys?
6 years.
And did he bully you when you were young?
No, not at all, actually. He was just getting on with his life. And in fact, if anything, I think I was fairly demanding. When I was 6, he was 12.
She was a spoiled baby of the family. So.
Youngest child.
The youngest child. So he could be 15 and he might be having a friend to play in his room, and then I would go and rain on their parade and say, oh, I want to come and play with you too. And of course, I had no clue what they were doing or whatever they were playing at that point. So I was kind of interfering all the time. No, he didn't bully me at all.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't even know what that means.
Tell us something about Shashi that his public persona does not convey, and that only those who know him would know, and maybe this audience would be surprised to hear.
The truth is, Shashi is completely honest, authentic. And what you see in public is what you actually see at home. He is genuinely an honest, truthful, kind, non-judgmental person. He works very, very hard at it. He really does. And that's how our parents brought us up. All three of us. We work on that. My father, he changed his surname. The surname that we have is Tharoor, as you know. And the reason we have that is because he did not want people to know about our Nair caste. He didn't want, he wanted us to be accepting, liberal, non-judgmental. In our building, there was somebody who was gay. He never said at any point to Shashi or my sister or me, oh, that man is gay, or don't go to his house. So that's his sexuality. What's the big deal? Religions, you name it, any single religion, any caste, any creed, were at home playing with us. Yeah. So,
and they never mentioned, my parents never mentioned the religion or caste of anyone that came home. And only later I realized, as we became conscious of these things, how very, very, very diverse our group of friends was.
I think it really is. So I'm sorry I don't have any nugget to give any of you about Shashi, because what you see is what you get. He genuinely is.
Do you feel like a protective younger sister when you see some of the, right now Shashi is like sort of the darling of India, and I'm not saying he hasn't been that before, but he's been through his share
he certainly has.
Of just awful media commentary by some of my own
I've
colleagues.
been with him at the time,
right? Yeah. I have been dismayed and appalled and disgusted by some of that media commentary.
Absolutely.
And he's been through that. And I'm just wondering, as a family member, as a sister, what has that been like for you to watch him go through
It's really hard. And protection is absolutely right, Barkha, because both Shobha and I, Shobha is my sister, just 21 months older than I am. And Shobha and I have been protective with capital P and flashing lights, because if the two of us are not there to support him, protect him, yell at him, hey, come on, Shash, you know, you don't have to accept everything. You should have gone to your hotel and gone to bed tonight. For example.
No, but I hear you.
But you see where
I
I'm
know what
going
you
with
mean.
this.
Yeah, I
and
know
so
what
the
you
whole
mean.
idea of, if we are not there for him, then who is? We're his siblings. We're the closest to him, other than his two sons. And of course, we wouldn't put the pressure on our mom.
Yeah.
So, you know, Shobha and I are constantly involved. She lives in California. I live here in London. And we work extra hard to be part of his life on a day-to-day level. And you might think, oh, God, those bloody sisters, they're nagging me
No,
again.
I don't. I don't think that at all. I'm very grateful to have them. We're in touch every day.
Yeah, we
And
have
what
our
is
sibling
more
group
is
that
that-
goes
Do you have a
on fire.
WhatsApp group?
Oh, God,
Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
Are there lots of fights that in my sister's
there's a lot of
WhatsApp group? We
telling
have a
off
lot
of the
of
older
jhagra.
brother.
Huh? There's a lot
There's
of.
a lot of telling off of the old.
Yeah, no, I rarely get my way with these two, I can assure you. but you know, now that my mom is getting older, they also take turns to come and spend time in India with her and me.
Yeah.
So I see much more of them, and it's great. So the presence of the women in my life has continued.
Well, okay, I think we have time for maybe a couple of audience
Okay, I'm
questions.
gonna go back and sit
I
down.
see you here. Could you get to the mic? Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Bharat again. Thank you, Barkha, for the opportunity. Dr. Tharoor, I just want to say that I don't think anybody in this audience is possibly going to dispute that we're very proud of you and what you've done for the country, and also as part of the parliamentary delegations that
Thank
went
you,
globally.
I think we can show him some more love. He's just got off a flight for us.
But if I may just ask, you know, obviously this was done because there was a sense that perhaps India fell short on the narrative battle. And you've done this, you've come back. I just wonder if you can tell us what we should expect from this, you know, in terms of an outcome, because it seems to me that the gentleman in the White House, it hasn't prevented him from having lunch with the man who's appointed himself a field marshal either. So maybe if you can tell us a little bit about what the outcome
I don't
was.
think you can judge any country's diplomatic effectiveness by other countries' attitudes to a third country. I mean, the truth is the US
That's fair. I was just
Pakistan
making a joke on that,
relationship has a dynamic of its own. And there are, I mean, I had conversations. I didn't meet Mr. Trump, but I met Vice President Vance and pretty much everyone who met her on down, both formally and informally. I will tell you that I was extremely pleased that we got all our messages across, that they were understood and repeated with understanding and support by everyone we met. And there were moments when our ambassador in Washington and I would look at each other and say, the other guy's got hold of our talking points according to what he's saying, you know?
Yeah.
So we really got our messages across. I can't tell you how very pleased we were with the effectiveness. In a place like Colombia, for example, the government, which is a reflexively leftist, peace-loving government, had issued a statement expressing heartfelt condemnation and condolences for the victims in Pakistan when we launched Operation Sindoor. And they had not said anything at all in defense of India. When I came and explained the position, both publicly and privately, I'm very pleased to say they withdrew that statement. And they subsequently issued remarks of support. So I think these delegation visits serve the purpose of getting our message across, either where they hadn't been heard properly or when there was a need to challenge their conventional thinking or their conventional wisdom on some issues. Not everywhere was it hard. In a country like Guyana, we were pushing at an open door. They already love us. 40% of Guyana is Indian, including the president. Different story there. And in some ways, it was the way we started. It gave us a chance, as it were, to sort of feel the love and feel the confidence thereafter to go on. But then we hit Panama, Colombia, Brazil, and finally the United States. And there was a different set of challenges and emphases in each of these places. And I must say it went well. Many, many places, because everywhere we were meeting not only government officials, we were also meeting our equivalents as parliamentarians, legislators, senators and congressmen, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, the House Foreign Relations Committee in the US, and the equivalents in all these other countries. Speakers of the House in many cases themselves met us, the presidents of the National Assemblies. So we wanted a representative cross-section of opinion to know what our concerns were, why we had to do what we had done, and put across very firmly this is not India versus Pakistan. The tendency of people to say, oh, India versus Pakistan, they've been fighting each other for decades, or as Mr. Trump famously said, for thousands of years. We wanted to get away from that narrative and make it very clear. This is not about India versus Pakistan, this is about India versus terrorism. And it's got nothing to do with anything else. And in fact, linked to that was the fact that our first strikes on the night of the 6th, 7th of May very specifically avoided any Pakistan government sites, even any Pakistan military sites. We only hit known terror bases, terror training camps and terror headquarters of organizations listed by the UN Terrorism Committee and on the designated terror list of the US State Department. So no one could accuse us of just randomly doing something. It was a very precise, calibrated action on the part of the government of India, which worked, I believe, in an exemplary way. And I've had very senior people, it would not be fair for me to reveal names, but very senior people in all these countries, including the US, saying, we understand and respect the restraint and responsibility that India showed in its actions. The other thing we had to convey, particularly when we got to Washington, and I wasn't going to say this earlier, but now the Prime Minister has made it public, so I can do so, was that we wanted to make it very clear to them that they shouldn't be talking about mediation, because, number one, we didn't need anyone to persuade us to stop. From the beginning of the first strike, we had signaled to the world that we were merely actually taking an act of retribution against terror. We were not launching the first salvo in a protracted war with Pakistan. And we said, if Pakistan chooses not to retaliate, it's over, we're done. If Pakistan does retaliate, then we'll have to hit back. It's as simple as that. And every day the message was clear, even from the publicly recorded briefings that you could see. They were saying to Pakistan, through the world and through the media, if you hit, we hit back. If you stop, we'll stop. So no one needed to persuade us. The day the Pakistani DGMO called saying, let's call it off, our guy said yes. There wasn't even a debate on the matter. We didn't want to prolong it. Second most important issue is we really have bigger things to do. We are not a country that is focused on conflict. We are a country focused on development. We're a country focused on growth, on technology. We don't want to be distracted by these petty issues. And frankly, if they leave us alone, we're very happy to leave them alone. It's not for us at all that we have any ambitions, any territorial aggrandizement, whatever. And finally, the message to them was also, listen, when you talk about mediation, you're implying equivalence. There is no equivalence between terrorists and civilian victims. And there is no equivalence between a country from which these terrorists come and where they have safe haven and where they're financed and armed and equipped and trained and dispatched, and a country that is merely exercising its right of self-defense. So if there is no equivalence, there's no mediation.
Completely agree. Okay, one or two more questions because he's really, really tired. Yes, sir, please go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, my immunities have been down from all this running around.
Good evening, Mr. Tharoor. Don't you think this was, the sending the delegation was the same thing what P.V. Narasimha Rao ji did, sending Atal Bihari Vajpayee Saab?
There are three kinds of precedents. There is certainly the fact that that in '71, in the lead up to what became the Bangladesh War, Indira Gandhi sent some of her major critics out, including J.P. Narayan, as an emissary, as emissaries to foreign countries, to explain to them what India was going through with the refugee influx and the Pakistani genocide in Bangladesh. Second, P.V. Narasimha Rao asking Vajpayee Saab to lead the delegation to Geneva, where the UN Human Rights Commission was having a discussion on Kashmir. And the third example is 2008, after Mumbai, parliamentary delegations were sent out by the Manmohan Singh government as well. So it is, in that sense, not unprecedented to do this. But this was the most extensive and ambitious venture of this kind. We sent out a total of 58 MPs to 7 different regions. Each delegation went to at least 2 or 3 countries. In my case, my delegation went to 5. And you know, it was in many ways a good way of showcasing our unity and our diversity, political as well as other. I had 8 in my team, including a retired ambassador. Of the 8, we had 8 different states, 5 different political parties and 3 different religions. And that too is a message in itself.
Absolutely. Okay, no, sir, I need to give a woman a chance to ask a question because both have been from men. Is there a woman somewhere? Yes.
Lots
here.
of women's hands.
A lot of hands. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
Did you have a Vixki Goli? Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and since we are here on Women Talk, I wanted to ask you about the women's safety in India. That is one of the grey area that is not being touched upon, and I wanted to know what are we doing about it.
Okay, can I take one more question from a young woman? And yeah, there. Go, come.
Cool. Hi, Shashi sir. I'm really excited to be here and see you like in flesh. You know, we see you like, your passion is like, you can see it across the screen. So thank you for being here, firstly. My question's more so, you've obviously seen, I think, so many different kinds of people in your life, and especially youth. What's like some qualities you want to see in the youth, especially as a Brit Indian, I guess? I've had a mix. So I really want to know what you think are some qualities you want to see in the youth to progress further, and also to like really endorse humanity, not like any religion or anything else.
Wow, okay. On safety of women, I think honestly you get a better answer from Barkha.
Yeah.
I don't think it's pretty good. I mean, there's nothing much I can say because there are too many incidents every single day. And not only in sort of dark alleys, you're having horrible incidents in medical colleges, in university campuses, yesterday in a law school. It's just, it's as if on the one hand, our men seem to be unable to control their baser instincts, and our authorities don't seem to be able to create institutional structures to protect women enough. So I'm as a man, deeply ashamed to see all of this. Of course, there can never be 100% foolproof security in any country in the world, and there isn't anywhere else either. But I think we need to get our act together a bit better. There can't be a one-size-fits-all solution because law and order is a state responsibility. So you can't get a central government directive on all of this. But state governments, I think, really need to give this greater political priority. And perhaps when we have more women in politics with the 33% reservation bill and so on, they will make it more of a priority.
I really wish for that to be a reality in our, in the near future, not in the distant future.
Yeah. So it really should be a priority. Now, this is not to imply that India is as some countries I gather have been saying, women should not travel in India, and so that's silly. It's never that bad. But whatever is happening is bad enough for us as Indians and Indian women who have to live
Can I
there.
just add a sentence there, though? I do feel that these are universal battles. Of course, this happens. A lot of us have, experienced this. And sometimes there are better institutional structures at something in some country and some other dimension in some other country. But really, gendered violence is a universal battle. I really feel it's not about country A versus country B. That's just what I wanted to say.
No, I agree.
Now it's back to you.
I agree with that. And as to the young lady, I tend not to be much of a preacher, but I will say that I hope the young are driven by a combination of things. I'm not going to give you one quality, but rather a combination of qualities that I think are extremely important. First is, of course, you've got to know yourself. There is know who you are, what you value. It may take some time to get to that, but then be firmly anchored in that's who I am, and I'm not going to, my own authenticity, my own integrity is not up for sale to the highest bidder. That's very important for every young person who steps out in life. Secondly, have values, principles, and convictions that are consistent with your sense of who you are. Whatever those may be, and different people will have different values, principles, and convictions, but you must have your own. At the same time, be receptive to others' views. I mean, this is the way I grew up, in that I never approached anything with a closed mind. I knew what I believed in, I knew what I liked, but I was always willing to listen to the other point of view. And at the end of it, I may walk away. One of the great worries I have about the 21st century social media era is the extent to which people are stuck in silos, where they're only following people who agree with them already, where they're all stuck in one particular point of view. That lack of sort of cross-pollination, that lack of receptivity to other ideas can really damage societies as well as the people themselves. I think those are all very essential. So if you can then be the best version of yourself that you can be, and nobody else can be you, right? So just be the best you that you can be, and I think you'll be fine. and so will the world.
Okay, so just before, we have a little surprise for you, but just before that, what's the one quality you do like least about yourself and one quality you like most about yourself?
Well, the one I like least about myself, because my sisters tell me this all the time.
That
as
you
well.
can't say no?
I can't say no, exactly. Including to you, Barkha. That's why I'm here.
I'm grateful for this quality you don't like in yourself.
And the quality, I don't know that I like most of myself. To some degree, it's sort of come over time, is a certain resilience that I would not have told you as a young man that I possessed. I acquired it through battling through adversity.
And just by living through it.
Living through it, the highs and the lows, the turbulence of my life, which has often been more than I expected, bargained for, or even thought I deserved, but nonetheless. And I think just, I'm pleased to have found, to have realized for myself that I have that inner strength, as it were, to cope with it.
What word would you use that best describes you? In Shashi Tharoor's thesaurus, what's the word that describes Shashi Tharoor?
I'm the least qualified person to answer that question, Barkha, really. I would rather you did it. You tell me what word you would use to describe me.
Renaissance man.
Ah,
Two words.
Well,
Multifaceted.
yeah.
I do think
That's
that
been true, but that can also be a disadvantage. I
Why
mean,
do you say
I
that?
remember years ago, for example, the Washington Post reviewing one of my books, and the reviewer said, if only this guy would just do one thing, you know, he'd be...
But you excelled at it all except cricket, I guess?
Yeah.
Sorry to be mean.
No, I mentioned the cricket myself, so not mean at all. Yeah, but in some ways I do stretch myself too thin, and perhaps I tax myself overly, in the sense that I'm trying to
But you
do the best I
enjoy it.
can in
At
everything.
at the end of it, you do enjoy most of it. Not all of it, but
That's
most
true.
of it.
I try and enjoy most of it, otherwise what's the point of doing it?
So
right?
here's my question to you. Without telling me anything political, tell me where you think you'll be 5 years from now.
Haven't got a clue, but
Where would you like to be?
ideally playing with my grandchildren is what I'd like to say.
Okay. This has been... What? What? Oh, word of the day. You have to do them a word of the day.
You know, the truth is, whenever I'm asked this, and I know especially this comes out of schools and colleges, I say, honestly, the best word I can instill in people is the very old, simple, short word, read. And if you read, and it almost doesn't matter what you read. I have young parents coming to me saying, oh, our kid is not interested in reading. He thinks books are only for schoolwork and so on. So I say, what is he interested in? He's interested in football. I said, get him a book on football. Make him read about it. So it doesn't matter what they're reading, but get them into the habit of engaging with the printed word and the page. Another problem of our 21st century, so much of today's entertainment and transmission of information as well is passive. You're just sitting there staring at a screen. At least books are interactive. They oblige you to engage. They oblige you to think. They oblige you to imagine from what you're reading.
Yeah.
Those qualities are being lost in the digital era, and I do worry about that. I have to say that if we can get all of those things fixed, we will do very, very much better. So, word of the day, the year, the month, whatever, the decade, the century is read.
So now we have a little surprise for you, because we've put you through the grinder in coming straight to us from the airport. There's a young girl who has been waiting the whole day to meet you. She was born in Thiruvananthapuram, which is your constituency, which is Shashi's parliamentary constituency, and she's a child prodigy singer. She started singing when she was 5. She's opened every session of ours, except this one, because we wanted her to do a special song for you.
How lovely.
And you will recognize the song, and please, the words are very loaded. It's called The Winner Takes It All. May I please welcome Suparnika Nair on stage. Let's put our hands together for Suparnika. There she is, that side. So you have to sit and enjoy her song, and then you have to present her an award.
I will.
Go for it.
Delighted. Looking forward to hearing you, Kanika.
I don't want to talk about things we've gone through. though it's hurting me. Now it's history. I've played all my cards, and that's what you have done too. Nothing more to say, no more race to play. The winner takes it all, the loser standing small beside the victory. That's her destiny. I was in your arms, thinking I belonged there. I figured it made sense, building me a fence, building me a home, thinking I'd be strong there. But I was a fool, playing by the rules the gods made through a dice. Their minds as cold as ice, and someone way down here loses someone dear. The winner takes it all, the loser has to fall. It's simple and it's plain. Why should I complain? I don't want to talk if it makes you feel sad, and I understand. You've come to shake my hand. I apologize if it makes you feel bad, seeing me so tense, no self-confidence. But you see, the winner takes it all. The winner takes it
Fabulous. You can be heard. You can be heard.
What a voice. Wonderful.
She has waited all day. And where are Suparnika's parents? I don't know where they are. They have waited all day. Can we please have the award on stage that Dr. Tharoor? Dr. Nair, if you're here, you can jump on stage. I know how keen you've been to meet Dr. Tharoor. So come on up. Come on up. And she's been singing since she was 5. Come on, you can come into the frame.
What a talented
You wanna
daughter
say
you've got.
something?
Yeah, what a talented daughter you've got.
Thank
What
you.
an amazing voice and what range.
Thank you. She had the privilege of you sharing her music once when she was semi-finalist of Britain's Got Talent in
that's-
2020
Oh my gosh.
on
She
Facebook.
was before then.
she was 10 years old.
That's right.
And they're from your very own God's own country.
From God's own country and from the capital of God's own country.
That's right.
To be my constituents.
Thank you so much. Let's have a big round of applause for Suparnika. Thank you. And finally, we're not done yet. Sit down. Can I request you to come off stage? Do you have your award? Yes. Thank you so much. And here you go. Suparnika, your music. Your music. And finally, we do have to honor Shashi Tharoor as the Changemaker of the Year. I think no single other person has done more to advocate for India on the global stage. I'm extremely grateful to him. I've capitalized on years of friendship and cajoled him and persuaded him to come straight from the airport here and then wait for all of us. A lot of people could not even enter the hall. There were so many people here to meet him, and I apologize to everybody who's outside. But from all of us, may I please request Anil Agarwal to come on stage and present Shashi Tharoor with the Changemaker of the Year award. And please, you all have mics. Everybody can be heard. Sir, but first, can we have the trophy? Can we have?
What an honor.
Both of these are dead, I'm afraid.
They're working.
They're working?
I'm being told again and again, don't do the Indian thing.
Don't
of
do the
doing
Indian
this.
thing, sorry.
They're working.
Okay.
Very nice.
Anilji, if I may ask you to do the honors.
Pleasure and honor. Pleasure and
If
honor.
I may. Can we give it up for Shashi Tharoor? Louder, 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 louder. Come on. I think he deserves a bigger round of applause.
No, this is our...
Anilji.
Yeah, it was our...
Okay.
It was our...
Shashi ji, you rock, and Anilji.
No,
Anilji, baithiye, please. Shashi, let's just sit for a few more minutes as we give Anil Agarwal ji the closing words. Yes.
Oh, it's for me, it's an honor. Shashi has been our icon. We've been proud of him for 10 years, 20 years, whatever you talk about from UN time. He never valued himself. One person I always find, he never valued for himself. It is amazing, but apart from that, what has happened today, what Barkha has done is amazing, what she has done, beautiful. I got this chance, Shashi. I got this opportunity to acquire beautiful Anil Agrawal Riverside Foundation. It's just few months back. And it is something which we have to bring the culture. Beatles came here, Beatles grown from here. Another Beatle will come in Riverside. Yes. Whatever happened is a mixture of culture. East, West, anybody want to perform, anybody want to come here, is amazing talent in all over the world is there. It's most welcome. And the biggest thing has happened, the local society, the way they have come up to me, it is a very, very 100% English society. They have welcomed this immensely. They were open hand, they have come and says, please bring East and West together. I'm looking forward Indian premiere or worldwide any movie to be. We had a couple of premiere in this area. We have a beautiful 2 theater, 2 cinema hall, an amazing studio to film. No Indian movie has been ever shot.
Yeah.
No Indian movie, the first movie came just 10 days back, and it was a premiere. I'm looking forward the Gujarati theater to come in, looking Marathi theater to come in. I'm looking French, the Europe. This is the hub of the culture. London represents to the world the platform of culture. All the Europe come in the morning, they stay in the night, go back because of this culture. And whatever I can, this is for non-profit, whatever we can add to this, to bring our India also the flag high. And Shashi, you have come, you made it great.
Thank you.
So thank you, everybody. Please enjoy, please support whatever you can support. And open hand, please use this. Please use this as much as you can. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anil.
Thank you.
And a big hand to Barkha for pulling off We the Women.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
What she has done.
Thank you.
I can't believe. One man show what she did from since morning to evening. Flawless.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. And once again,
Put the women on the top of the world.
Thank
Put
you,
the
sir.
women. I have 3 women in my life. I just lost my mother a few months back. My mother, my wife, my daughter, and the granddaughter.
Yes.
Granddaughter. She is the hub of everything. So it's all up around the women and women. Without women, we could not have survived.
thank you so much, everybody. You've been a great audience. A big shout out to the entire crew that has been working through the morning and day backstage. To the producers, Rachna, Shirali, Ria, a whole team of people who you don't see up front, A big thank you to our director who's been in my ear all day, Nick and his team, and to Bobby, to Anil Agarwal ji for supporting this, for Shashi Tharoor for coming from the flight straight from the airport, jet lagged, tired, with a cold, and to all of you, above all, for being the best audience ever. Thank you so much. Thank you. A big round of applause for all of you. Thank you.
Very important people. One is the person who is in charge of the
Ritu.
entire thing. No, Chris.
Chris and
Chris
Ritu
is
both,
the one,
yes.
and the Ritu.
Yes,
overall
absolutely.
supervise.
Absolutely.
What they have done is amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.